Shabbat Shalom. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our Shabbat morning service. Couple quick things to mention as we get started. As always, be aware of your exits. Please make sure your cell phones are turned to silent. If you see something, say something. And as always the case, in the case of emergency, feel free to call 911. But otherwise, we invite you not to be talking on your cell phones to risk interrupting the sanctity of our worship service. So we're going to try again with the visual tefillah, which I gave up a few weeks ago because I want to enable those joining us virtually to be able to follow the service. But on every page, there will also be a page number, so you can certainly use your prayer book as well. There are only a couple of places where the visual and the page number don't exactly align, but I will do my best to announce them. So with that in mind, we will begin with Ma Tovu, which you can find on page 74. Ma Tovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma Tovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Va'ani birov chastecha avo beitecha eshachaveh el hechal kodshecha be'yiratecha. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Continue with Asher Yetzar, which you can find on page 76. Whoa, 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 whoa. Thank you for my life, body and soul. Help me realize I am beautiful and whole. I'm perfect the way I am and a little broken too. I will live each day as a gift I give to you. Whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, Baruch atah Adonai, Rofech kol basar umafli lasot. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofech kol basar umafli lasot. Whoa, 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 whoa. Continue with Elohai Neshama, page 78. Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Shenatata bi Tehorahi. Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Shenatata bi Tehorahi. Tabirata, Ata Yitzarta, Ata Nefachta bi, Ve'ata Mishamira, Mishamra Bikirbi. Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Shenatata bi Tehorahi. Baruch atah Adonai asher biado nefesh kol chai v'ruach kol besar ish. Continue with the Nisim B'chol Yom, the daily blessings, beginning page 80 through page 84. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan l'sek vivina le'avchin ben yom uvein laila. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani b'tzelmo. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani b'tzelem Elohim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani ben chorin. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach ivrim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, malbish arumim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, zokef kefufim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamechin mitzadei gaver. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, ozer Yisrael bigvura. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, oter Yisrael b'tifara. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hanoten li'ayev koach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamavir she'ena me'etnai u'duma me'afapai. Continue with the blessing over the study of Torah, page 86. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. Continue with the study of Torah, the rabbinic application of the Ten Commandments, Elu Devarim. Elu Devarim she'en lahem shior. Elu Devarim she'en lahem shior. Elu Devarim she'en lahem shior. Ve'elu hein kibud avayim. Ugmilut chasadim, v'hashkamat beit hamidrash, shacharit ve'arvit, v'haknasat orchim, uvikur kolim, v'haknasat kala, uvayat amet, de'iyun shvilah, de'iyun tefillah, v'havat shalom, ben adam lechaveiro. V'talmud Torah keneged kulam, v'talmud Torah keneged kulam, v'talmud Torah keneged kulam. Elu devarim she'en lahem shior, elu devarim she'en lahem shior. Elu devarim she'en lahem shior, ve'elu continue with a little bit of Psuke de Zimra with Psalm 150, which you can find on page 100. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, El Bikocho, hallelujah, Bekira Uzo, hallelujah, Big Vurotav, hallelujah, Kirov Kulo, hallelujah, 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 B'teka shofar, hallelujah, B'nevel v'chinor, hallelujah, B'tov machol, hallelujah, B'minim ve'ugav, hallelujah, 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 B'tziltzalei shama, hallelujah, B'tziltzalei trua, kol haneshama tehallelujah, kol haneshama tehallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Continue with the Chatzi Kaddish, page 106. Yikadal v'yikadash shmei Rabba, v'yalma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'gala ba'gala uv'izman kariv v'imeru amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach, Le'olam u'lamei omaya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yitbar, V'yitromam, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalal, Shmei Dekudesha Brichu, Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, Tushbechata v'nechemata, Tamiram b'alma, Ve'imeru, amen. We invite all those who are able to rise in body and or in spirit for the Baruch Hu, page 108. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Yada lie, 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 yada lie, lie, lie. Barechu et Adonai Hamevorach. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Le'olam Va'ed Le'olam Va'ed Galalai lai lai 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 Galalai lai lai. We read together, page 112. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer or uvarei choshech, oseh shalom uvarei et hakol, hameir la'aretz v'ladarim aleha barachamim, uvtuvo mechadesh b'chol yom tamid ma'aseh v'reishit. Ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai, kulam b'chochma asita, mal'ah ha'aretz kinyanecha, tiparach Adonai Eloheinu, al shevach ma'aseh yadecha, v'al me'orei or she'asita yifa'arucha sela, or chadash al tzion ta'ir, v'nizkechu lanu mehera le'oro, baruch atah Adonai, yotzer ha'me'orot. We read together on page 112, I believe, 112, towards the top middle of the page. How deeply you have loved us, Adonai our God, gracing us with surpassing compassion, on account of our forebears whose trust led you to teach them the laws of life. Be gracious to us, teaching us as well. O merciful one, have mercy on us by making us able to understand and discern, to heed, learn, and teach, and lovingly to observe, perform, and fulfill all that is in your mitzvah, all that is in your Torah. V'harer inenu v'toratecha v'dabek lebeinu v'mitzvotecha v'yached v'vaveinu v'yahava u'yira et shemecha v'lo nebosh v'lo nikalem v'lo nikashel ve'olam va'ed ki v'shem kodshecha hagadol v'hanora v'tachnu nagila v'nismecha nagila v'nismecha v'shuatecha ki el poel yeshuot ata uvanu v'acharta v'kiravtanu l'shimcha gadol sela be'emet l'odol lecha yolchedcha b'ahava baruch atah Adonai habocher b'amo Yisrael b'ahava. Page 114. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. You may be seated. V'yavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'aderech uvshokbecha uvkumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem emet. Continue responsively, page 121, towards the bottom of the page. The eternal truth is that you alone are God and there is none else. Let them beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. You shall not hate your brother or your sister in your heart. Why do you crush my people and oppress the poor, asks God. Praise to God Most High. Continue with the Song of Our Redemption, Mi Chamocha, page 122. Yai vai vai, yai vai 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 vai, yai vai vai, yai vai 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 vai, yai vai vai vai, yai vai 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 vai, yai vai vai, yai vai 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 vai. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha ne'edar ba'kodesh, norah tehilot osei peleh, norah tehilot osei peleh. Shira chadasha shibru ge'ulim, v'shimcha al sfat hayam, yachad kulam hodu, ve'himliku ve'ameru. Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Yai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Tzur Yisrael, Kuma Bezrat Yisrael, Uvtechnu Mecha, Yuda veYisrael, Go Aleinu, Adonai Tzvaot Shemo, Kedosh Yisrael, Baruch Atah Adonai, Ka'al Yisrael. As a quick aside, I know I'm not supposed to interrupt the Amidah. Tzur Yisrael, Rock of Israel, rise to protect Israel. It's tradition for some to rise when you hear those words, Be'ezrat Yisrael. But for everyone else, we invite you to rise as we continue with the Amidah, the central section of our worship service, beginning page 124. Adonai tzifatai tiftach ufiya ki tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Anorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasei Avot v'Imahot, Umevi Gula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shmo B'Yahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol Atah Rav Lehoshia, Mashiva Ruach Umorid Hagashem, Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Birofech Olim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, mi chamocha ba'al givurot, umido melech, melech meimit umechaye, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman ata le'achayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, mechaye hakol. We remain standing for the Kiddushah, the sanctification, page 130. Nikadesh et shimcha ba'olam, Geshem makdishim oto bishmei marom, kakatuv al yad neviecha, v'kara ze ve'amar, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzivaot, Melo Kol Haaretz, Kivodo. Adir, Adirenu, Adonai, Adonenu, Ma'adir Shimcha B'chol Haaretz, Baruch Kivod Adonai, Nimkomo. Echadu Eloheinu, Hu Avinu, Hu Malkeinu, Hu Moshienu, Hu Yashmienu, Berachamav Le'enei Kol Chai. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Yimloch Adonai Le'olam, Elohai Yitzion, Ledor Vador, Alleluia. Ledor Vador Nagid Godecha, Ulenetzach Netzachim Kedushaka Nakdish, V'shivcha Eloheinu, Mipinu Lo Yamush, Leolam Vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. You may be seated. We continue now with a wonderful song of Shabbat, Yismechu, page 32. Yismechu v'malechutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, Korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, Korei oneg Shabbat. Mikadashei, Mikadashei Shavi Shabbat, Kulam Yismechu, V'yantu Vecha Shabbat, Yismechu v'malechutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, Korei oneg Shabbat, Yismechu v'malechutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, Korei oneg Shabbat. Kashvi ratzita bo b'kdasho Shabbat, Chemdat yamim, Oto karata Shabbat, Yismechu v'malechutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, V'korei oneg Shabbat, Yismechu v'malechutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, Korei oneg Shabbat. Zecher l'ma'aseh v'reishit Shabbat. Zecher l'ma'aseh v'reishit Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, Korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat. V'korei oneg Shabbat. Page 137, we read together, Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu, B'yamcha Yisrael, Utfilatam Yahava Tikabel, Uti Ratzon Tamid Avodat Yisrael Amecha, Baruch Ata Adonai, She'otcha Levadcha, B'yira Na'avod. We'll continue with the visuals now, by you to look up. Please join me if you so choose. Be gracious, O eternal our God, to your people Israel, and receive our prayers with love. O may our worship always be acceptable to you. Fill us with the knowledge that you are near to all who seek you in truth. Let our eyes behold your presence in our midst and in the midst of our people in Zion. Blessed is the Eternal, whose presence gives life to Zion and to all Israel. Baruch Ata Adonai, Hamachazir Shechinato Litzion. Continue page 140 with the prayer for peace. Sim Shalom. Sim Shalom. Tova Uvracha. Sim Shalom. Tova Uvracha. Sim Shalom. Tova Uvracha. Sim Shalom. Tova Uvracha. Chen b'chesed, chen b'chesed v'rachamim. Chen b'chesed, chen b'chesed v'rachamim. V'rachamim. Sim Shalom. Tova Uvracha. Sim Shalom. Tova Uvracha. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Amecha. Sim Shalom. Tova Uvracha. Sim Shalom. Tova Uvracha. Tova Uvracha. Tova Uvracha. Baruch et Adonai, Hamivarech et Amo Yisrael, B'Shalom. We pause now for a few moments of personal, private prayer. We invite you to please pray silently. Say shalom imromav uyase shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Say shalom b'imromav uyase shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. So in a few moments, we're going to continue with Seder Kriyat Torah with our Torah service. Just bear with me for a moment as I get myself resituated. Oh, I wasn't wearing my tallis this whole time. Why didn't someone tell me? It was not deliberate. Just juggling a lot of different pieces. As mentioned, we will continue with Seder Kriyat Torah with our Torah service. Invite everyone who is able to please rise in body, and in spirit as the ark is opened. Al shlosha divarim, al shlosha divarim, al shlosha divarim, ha'olam omed, al shlosha divarim, al shlosha divarim, al shlosha divarim, ha'olam omed, al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim, al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo, Gadlu Adonai iti, Uneromema Shemo Yachdav. Lecha Adonai Hal-Gedula V'Hal-Gevura V'Tiferet V'Netzach V'Hahod Ki Chol V'Shamayim U'Va'aretz Ki Chol V'Shamayim U'Va'aretz Lecha Adonai HaMamlacha Yamid Naseh Lechol Nerosh. Anyone else? There you go. Okay. This is the part where I got to figure out how to play guitar and hold the Torah at the same time. It's one skill I have yet to quite master. That'd be very interesting to see, though. So we are going to invite everyone who so chooses. You can be seated. So the text itself can be found beginning page 539 in your Plaut Torah commentaries through page 554. So we are in Parashat Yitro, which we studied fairly extensively this morning in Torah study. And in Yitro, we find the first iteration of the 10 Commandments for all to obey. Yes, I will quote Mel Brooks early and often. And as we did in our Torah study, for those who were there, you remember hopefully, and for those who are joining us, we began a conversation about these central principles in Judaism. By the way, if you take anything away from today, there are not 10 commandments in the Torah, there are 613. These are not the beginning of the 613, but they are viewed as being sort of central societal principles. And so much so that other religious traditions have borrowed from them and taken them to be their own. The challenge is, there's at least one other iteration of the 10 Commandments later in the book of Deuteronomy, And I would argue there's actually a third version later on in Exodus, because as we know, Moses came down with them. He saw the Israelites partying in the wilderness, maybe having a rave, and he got a little disappointed in it. And either he smashed the tablets, or according to the Midrash, the letters on the tablets were so upset, and they were what lifting up the tablets were, that they fled the tablets, making them just mere stone, and it was too heavy for Moses to hold, and they came crashing down. In either case, Moses had to go back up Mount Sinai. This first time, God carved the tablets and wrote on them. The second time, Moses goes up, and he has to carve the tablets himself, and he has to write in them. And the version given in Exodus 34 is vastly different from the version that we find here. And it's much more inherently Jewish. But the second thing we talked about is that as we go through them, and you can look at the translation, bear in mind that it's not so simple as we think. For example, thou shalt not kill. That's one of the typical translations. In the Hebrew, it's actually, you shall not commit an act of first-degree murder. Very different in interpretation. It also says, honor your father and mother, but it doesn't tell us specifically what that means. We lean to the rabbis who give us the interpretation, the practical ways that we are obligated to honor our parents, but not all the ways we can honor them, but the bare minimum, if you will. And it tells us things like don't steal, which we began the conversation with, which means take something that doesn't belong to you. But as we all know, that's not exactly what it means. It means take something that doesn't belong to you that the owner might be upset if you take. For example, I go to the grocery store, fill up the fridge, and then immediately that day my children approach it and devour it like a horde of hungry locusts. That's my food, but I want it for them to eat, just maybe not as quickly as they do. So I'm not upset. I'm disappointed by how rapidly it disappears, but they're not stealing from me because it's meant for everyone in the household to be able to enjoy. So I mention all this as a way of diving into the text, as encouraging you to take ownership over our tradition and not giving it to someone else. We started our conversation with saying there's a push always to hang the Ten Commandments in the courtrooms and in the schools throughout our nation. And aside from separation of church and state, which is a vitally important value interpreted through our Constitution, there's a second way to argue, which is which version? And whose version? And which translation? And whose translation are you going to put it out in the original Hebrew? For the Ten Commandments, all three versions are ours, and it's ours to own and not let others co-opt. So with that in mind, is there anyone who would like the honor of the Aliyah this morning? By the way, no one's obligated. Come on up. Tamod Shena Bat. Something or other. La Aliyah.
The rest of it. Baruch Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam. Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Hamim. V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Now, it is custom when reciting now you say here because you got to say it afterwards too. It's custom for when the Ten Commandments are recited in a congregational setting for everyone hearing it to rise. So we'll invite you to rise in body and or in spirit if you so choose. V'yidaber Elohim et kol ha'devarim ha'ele lemor, Anochi Adonai Elohecha asher hotzeiticha me'eretz Mitzrayim mibeit avadim, lo yiyeh lecha Elohim acherim al panai, lo ta'aseh lecha fesel v'chol timuna asher b'shamayim mima'al, v'asher ba'aretz mitachat, v'asher b'mayim mitachat la'aretz, lo tishtachavu lahem, lo ta'avdem ki Anochi Adonai Elohecha, El kanapa kodavon avot al banim al shaleshim va'al ribeim l'sonai. V'asa chesed la'alafim la'ohavai v'shomrai mitzvotai. Lo ta'aseh et Shem Adonai Elohecha l'shav, ki lo yinakeh Adonai et asher yisa et shemo l'shav. Zachor et Yom HaShabbat l'kadsho, sheshet yamim ta'avod va'asita kol melachtecha v'yom hashvi'i Shabbat l'Adonai Elohecha. Lo ta'aseh kol melacha ata uvincha uvetecha avadecha v'imotecha v'amotecha v'gercha asher b'sharecha. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz et hayam ve'et hayom ve'et kol asher bam v'yanuach b'yom hashvi'i al ken barech Adonai et yom hashabbat v'yikadshehu. Kabed et avicha ve'et imecha leman yirechun yamecha al hadama asher Adonai Elohecha noten lach. My parents may have quoted me that one regularly. Honor your father and your mother.
Yes.
Lo tirtzach, lo tin'af, lo tignov, lo ta'aneh b'reyecha ad shaker, lo tachmod beit reyecha, lo tachmod eshet reyecha v'avdo v'amato v'shoro v'chamaro kol asher l'reyecha.
Nice. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yesher Koach, thank you. You can be seated. At this time in our service, we now take a few moments to think of those who are ill and ailing. Mishaberach avotenu Avraham, Yitzhak, v'Yaakov, v'imotenu Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, v'Leah. May the God of our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless all those who are ill and ailing. And in our community, we think of Susan Alexander, Hal Arnold, Virginia Becker, Jean Brosco, Lisa Brunkhorst, Karma Bustillos, Sandy Christofferson, Lauren Cooper, Sandra Corsetti, Izzy Dodge, Scott Farkas, Chet Hartkinson, Ronald Kaplan, Samuel Kenkel, Karen Levin, Bailey Linthicum, Emily Linthicum, Eli Lopez, Diane Feinberg McIntyre, Brandy Matson, Melissa Nielsen, Todd Newland, Rachel Neymark, Mimi Rogers, Gloria Romero Downing, Holly Rosenberg, George Sachs, Steve Seglin, Linda Scharf, Rabbi Robert Scharf, Dee Dee Spiegel, Raylan Svoboda, Chrissy Swenson, Laura J. West, Brent Wine, and Abram Wisnia. If there are additions you would like to add, we invite you to do so at this time. And from our virtual community, we also add Ben Nemani and Sheldon Babinder. May the God of our ancestors bless all those who are ill and ailing with the refuah shlema, a complete recovery of mind, a body, of spirit. And for those unable to make a full recovery, may God continue to be a source of peace and comfort in their lives. May God grant strength to those who are dealing with the challenges of mental illness and or addiction. And of course, strength as well to all those who are recovering from the various ailments throughout the world. May God grant strength to those who love them, especially their caregivers, wisdom and protection to those who care for them, and strength to all of us who love them. And together as one loving family, let us say, Amen. We continue now with the lifting and dressing of the Torah. We invite all who are able to please rise as the Torah is lifted. V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei v'nei Yisrael al pi Adonai biyad Moshe. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai la 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 la, yai la 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 la, Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Remain standing as the Torahs return to the ark. Eitz Chaim hi lemachazikim ba v'tomcheha meushar diracheha yarchei noam v'chol netivotecha shalom. Hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva Chadesh Chadesh Yameinu Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem. And we remain standing for the words of Aleinu, page 282. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latei gedula liotze breshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, Vigoralenu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech, malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu, v'ne'emar, v'haya Adonai, l'melech al kol haaretz, Bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo, echad. You may be seated. Our thoughts turn now to our own loved ones, the martyrs of our people, those who have died in the season and in years past. On this Shabbat, we're in the period, and when you hear the name of a loved one, we do invite you to rise in body and or in spirit, and if you rise in body, to remain standing. On this Shabbat, we're in the period of Shiva for Florine Bernstein and for Sandy Bernstein. We're in the period of Shloshim, the 30 days of mourning for Doris Parker, Clara A. Meisenberg, and Leslie Bartlett. And the Yortzites, anniversaries of the deaths we observed this week, are for Jeanette K. Ban, Benjamin Bloom, Leah Susan Brookstein, Dorothy Ellen Secan, William Z. Chernus, Ruth Reisman Cohen, Eva Herman Cohn, Inga Margot Denkovich, Isidore Falk, Evan Bunny Farkas, Fanny Friedman, Dory Gerber, Stuart Galinsky, Melinda Fisher-Graham, Dr. Max Hellman, May Cartman, Lucille Cattleman, Louis Cole, Sarah Jacobs Cohn, Henry Krasny, Thomas Levitt, Stanley Malashuk, Ray Bronstein Marcus, Robert Mayer, Hubert Monsky, Edwin Bob Newman, Millie Needleman, Gertrude Nieder, Marvin Perelman, Bertha Pollock, Herman Rayfeld, Walter Aaron Rosenberg, Michael Rosinski, Janice Rosinski, Jeanette Rubin, Elkin Silligson, Frankie Schamberg, Edith Shapiro, Miriam Schreier, Leah Syref, Howard Slusky, Temeret Smirin, Israel Solomon, Morris Sophir, Frida Chernis Schwartz, Betty Zuber. If there are any additions or corrections you'd like to add at this time, I invite you to do so. Remember as well Dr. Deborah Turner. And as a community, we remember the 6 million who perished in the violence of the Shoah. Our griefs and sympathies are mingled. We invite all others who so choose to rise as well in solidarity with the mourners as we join together in Kadisha Tom, Mourner's Kaddish, page 294. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah, v'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon, v'chayedechol beit Yisrael, v'agalav v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lamei maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudashah b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Damiram b'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'akol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru, amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn, comfort to all who are bereaved. Together as one loving family, let us say, amen. O say shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru. Amen. You may be seated. A few things to mention as we conclude our service here this morning. First of all, thank you to all of you for joining us. It wouldn't be the same without you. Thank you especially to Sarah for running tech for us, to OPD, as well as to Scott for the back of the house. It's not so much a mess, but please excuse the construction at the back of our sanctuary. Looking forward to bringing the AV room to create a better Shabbat experience with the ultimate goal, by the way, of us being able to return Shabbat morning to the chapel for a more intimate Shabbat experience where we can also offer it on Zoom. So that hopefully will be coming in the next month or so we can join together at Shabbat morning in our sacred chapel space, which is also lovely as well. Join us this Sunday, tomorrow, for Temple Tots, where you can join the Tots with games, stories, crafts, and learning together starting at 10 a.m. And then our Tot Shabbat on February 9th. This is for our Tots, our families with Tots, and for those who feel like a Tot. During this time, on Sunday, we also have our monthly coffee and conversation dropped by the Brooks Cafe from 10 to noon to talk with board members Lester Katz and Susie Norton. Use this time to ask questions about what's happening at Temple Israel, give feedback, learn about what's happening on the board, or just stop by for a friendly chat. So that's tomorrow from 10 to 12. Spirit of Galilee will be joining us February 20th through 25th. We have several events happening that feature Rabbi Or Zohar, Gadir Khani, and Father Saba Haj as they work towards the advancement of pluralism, mutual understanding, and cooperation between various denominations, religions, and cultures in the region, both for Arabs and Israelis alike. We've sent out postcards. You can find all the information on our website. There's going to be a lot going on that week, so consult all of our information and publicity, because it's not just going to be here, but it's going to be at Tri-Faith and hopefully at AMI and at the church and also at University of Nebraska, Omaha. So lots of great things happening with that. And as always, check our e-communications, because that's where you will find the latest and most up-to-date information. Have I missed anything? For those in our conversion program, we do have conversion class tomorrow as well, with me talking about the various denominations of Judaism. So with that in mind, unless there's anything else, we'll join together page 322 with one of my favorite sort of concluding melodies, Ein Keloheinu. Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Gemalkeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Mich Eloheinu, Mich Adonenu, Mich Emalkeinu, Mich Kemoshienu. Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Emalkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Have a lovely Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom, Zoomies. Can
Shabbat
join us for
Shalom.
those in person, Kiddush and Motzi, and maybe a little Nosh just outside our sanctuary. And for our Zoomies, wish you a wonderful Shabbat. And if you don't have a good oneg, you only have yourselves to blame.